People ask me, Stocky, I want to buy into the market, but I'm afraid the market's going to go down. Same thing with the house. You want it to go down now. You don't want it to go down when you're about to fucking retire. Okay? Think about those people who were investing in the 90s, right? They were like halfway, they were 35 years old in 1994, okay? Whatever. And by 2000, their portfolio had gone to this. And they're 41 years old and their portfolio is up 200%. And they're like, oh my fucking God, I can't stop making money. I'm going to be retired in 9 years at 50 and be good to go. And then the goddamn market crashed. But it's okay. I'm only 41. 9 years later, when they're 50, it's back to where it was. They're like, we're right back on track. Then the goddamn thing crashed again. And then it took 5 years to get back to even. They're 55. That right there is a fucking heart attack. Okay? But the good thing about it happening, especially when you're young, is number one, eventually we're going to go back up. Number two, you get to add more. And number three, it doesn't matter right now. So let's say you buy a house now, right? And you buy the house for $400,000 and next year it's $300,000. Who gives a shit? Are you planning on selling your house next year? Then who cares what the price is next year? Because in 20 years, it'll probably be 1 million. Who cares? But if you have cash on hand and there's a housing crash, guess what? There's more property available that you can buy the dip on, or you can now make improvements to your current home for cheaper than it was now because the housing market has crashed. There's less people buying, meaning there's less people buying and doing work on houses and contracting, meaning that labor is cheaper, supplies are cheaper. You can now renovate your house cheaper so that not only are you putting more equity or more value into the equity of your home for cheaper, but then when it does go up, instead of 1 million, it's 1.25 million because of the renovations you did for cheap while the housing market was down. This is short term and long term are nothing. That's the problem. And I know I sound like a boomer when I say this, but this is why TikTok is so fucking explosive right now, because we don't have fucking patience. Everything is a short term time frame for us right now. When's the last time you heard somebody say some shit about Ukraine? What was that, 2 weeks of everybody, flying their little blue and yellow flags? Ukraine is getting taken over by Russia right now. Nobody fucking gives a shit anymore because we've moved on to Elon Musk and Twitter, or we've moved on to monkeypox, or we've moved on to this. Nobody's talking about COVID anymore. And that's why I try to tell these guys, and so many people in our community have left because they've like, this investing thing sucks and this is terrible and I've lost money and I hate you, Stocky, because of you, I've lost money. First of all, you haven't lost until you sell. Second of all, 2008 to 2013, it took 5 years to get back to even. Okay? 5 years to get back to even. And for people who didn't live through that, or people who are younger are saying, oh my God, Stocky, 5 years for me to get my money back? No, this is what I'm going to say, and I've repeated it a million times, and I'll say it again. The money you have now is going to be is not all the money you're ever going to have in your investing account. It is a small portion of what you're going to have in the future. Let's say you're down 50% right now of your entire portfolio, and it never goes back up. 25 years from now, this is going to count for 0.5% of your portfolio, even if it never goes back up. And it will go back up. Let's say it doesn't. You don't even notice that. But here's the other thing. Do you want to know why this was so awesome for a lot of people that were in their 20s, 30s, and 40s? Because they kept doing their dollar cost averaging. Every paycheck they added. And because it was down here for 5 years, they went 5 years, once a month or twice a month, every month for 5 years, buying at this level. And then the market went there. So now all of these purchases are up 100 to 200%. You want the recession. You need the recession. Unless you're in this chat and you're over 50 years old, this is good. Just keep buying. What if I lose my job? Then hustle, make money on the side while you can, man. For those of you guys who can get your emotions out of it, okay, there are going to be people that lose their jobs. There are going to be people who hit economic hardships, okay? I'm not saying that that's not going to happen. But if you don't deal with that or you have cash on hand, the market always goes back up, guys. Until the U.S. economy and the empire collapses, the market will always go back up. It's quite an asterisk you have right there. Okay, for my little world FUD people, if we collapse this is the least of your problems. So win-win. Just keep dollar cost averaging. Do you want to know what my best returns in the last 6 years have been on my long-term portfolio? Every single stock I bought in November and December of 2018. I'm not talking about like individual stocks. I'm talking about ETF buys. Because September 28th of 2018, I bought $5,000 worth of AMD $33 calls. Within a week, I was down $4,300. I was wiped out. Fucking sucked. But you know what I did do? I kept buying VU on the way down. And from October 1st to December 24th, Christmas Eve, that was about 90 days, the S&P 500 dropped 21%. You think this pullback has been bad? It's just felt bad because it's taken longer. But guess what? We had a holiday on Christmas, and starting the day after Christmas on December 26th of 2018 to December 26th of 2019, the S&P 500 went up 43%. 43 fucking percent in 1 year. That's not normal, but 43% from the bottom, the day Christmas Eve. And I bought all the way down. So my average right here, my personal return on my VU shares on the average of that buy, 27%. I will take 27% in a year. But Stocky, I bought the dip last month and I'm down another 5%. Okay. Every 2 weeks or every month. Sometimes it'll be higher, sometimes it'll be lower. But every single person in this community who's 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 will look and say, God damn it, I wish I just DCA'd. And never stopped buying through the ups and the downs. Now, don't dump it all in at once because we don't know if we're still going to go down. You don't want to dump it all in here if we're going down. Sure, what if you dump it in and we go up? Great. You can add some here. And then next month, add some here. Add some here. And maybe we reverse here. And sure, you wish you would have dumped it all here, but you know what? You protected yourself in case we kept going down. And if we go up, you just keep going because we still have a long way to go. SPY's better than VU? Okay. I'll see you in 10 years when your management fee eats 20% of your fucking, or 10% of your capital when I only lose 2%. And that is why you see me trade and make crazy trades and degen stuff and stuff like that. Yeah, that's all good and great. Half that's for content, half of that's for extra capital. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Cut them early, whatever like that. But for the long term, I won't stop buying. Yesterday, I bought 3 more shares of Intel. Now, probably stupid to not buy VU instead, but hey, you know, I still think Intel has a future. I think it's completely valued or undervalued. So there's always opportunities out there, guys. But the most important thing is to just buy the total market. Not everyone has time and health for market to recover. Okay, well, if you think you're going to be dead in 3 years, then you shouldn't even be worried about investing unless you're investing for your family in the future. But let me ask you a question. What happens if you're not? You're only 38. And like I said, those of you guys, and I'm not going to sit here and try and get inspirational or bullshit again, but those of you guys in here who think, oh, it's too late, or I missed the boat, or I'm this, you're fucking young, okay? When I was 26 years old, I was a fucking addict with nothing, okay? When I was 27 years old, I was working at a Burger King. I didn't even become a streamer until I was 34. I didn't find success as a streamer until I was 35 or 36, okay? And I have a lot of life to go. I learned from my mistakes. I turned them into investments. You're not too old. You're never too old. Don't let anyone out there convince you that you are. All right? There's people out there that didn't even become successful until they were later on. But you know something? They became so successful because of the struggles they dealt with earlier in their life.